I just belted that out. Like, I am so much better than before. Salut et bienvenue to Cozy Corner with Ida. Very fun episode planned. I've been planning this for a while, so it's a bit more structured. If you see me looking down, I have not exactly a script, more of just some dot points to keep me on track, because you might have noticed that I like to go on little tangents. But it is a Cozy Corner with Ida, and I'm super excited because I am so much better. I am very happy, and I wanted to talk about it because it's actually very confusing for me why I'm very happy. So in order for me to keep this video in check, we have two common themes that I want to go through, and those common themes are the biblical definition of love, taken from 1 Corinthians chapter 16, 13, and also more of a fun one, the lyrics and songs in Miss Lauryn Hill's amazing album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which is a beautiful album, a really incredible album about love and how God fits into every single part of your life. I think it's a very inspirational album for me, a very relatable album for me. It's amazing. I would really recommend it. I love every song on there. But the two main ones are When It Hurts So Bad and I Used to Love Him, which from their titles sound very poignant and very specified, but I think that they, to me at least, relate in a lot of different ways. I Used to Love Him, for example, can definitely be seen as like, oh, I used to love this person, but I can also see it as I used to love this way of life. And also by the title, I have decided to use Year 12 Standard English and talk about the paradox of change. And my paradox is losing the one thing you know you wanted in this whole life. You know, you don't know what you want for your future. You can't be 100% sure what you want all the time, but there's this one thing that you know you want and you lose it, but it makes you happier than you've been in months, which is very confusing when you are bracing to be absolutely distraught and you've never felt better. Like, it's very strange, but I've had a lot of time to think about it and I just want to share it with you. Also, I haven't addressed it yet. Do you like my dress? I thought I would dress up fancy because not only is it Sunday, it's Cozy Corner with Ida. I get to see all my people. I get to see all my people. So this part is very contextual. It's like setting up this video. So for months, almost a year now, I have been in what I can only say is very long, drawn out grief of sorts. But the past couple weeks, I would say, it's August now, I would say maybe starting in late May, early June, I have been a wreck. I mean, genuinely, I went from someone who only cried very rarely. I only really ever stress cried. I would get upset about stuff, but actual tears would only ever come from my eyes when I was really stressed. So I went from that to someone who was crying every single day, multiple times a day, including in public, which is crazy for me. The other day, I was literally crying on the metro and it was so embarrassing. I was on the metro and everyone was looking at me and I was bawling. I felt very pathetic. But no, it's not pathetic to cry, but I just felt pathetic to cry because I don't know. But yeah, I felt no hope for my life. I genuinely, it's sad to say, but I was in this black hole where I didn't want anything. Any future you could have proposed to me that wasn't being in heaven, I was like, I don't want it. I was so upset and I felt like every single day I was wasting. Any day that I didn't do something, and I mean like do something about a very specific thing, I felt like I had wasted it. I was so sad. I genuinely hated myself. I hated everything. I was not happy. And it was really hard for me because I would read my Bible every night and all I could see was you need to have hope in God, and God wants you to, even when like reading Job and reading like even just the Gospels and the letters, like you can see that you need to take joy. You need to, what's the word, like find joy. You need to take joy in what you have, even when you feel like you have nothing. And I genuinely, because I was just in like this echo chamber of bad thoughts, felt like I had nothing to take joy in, which looking at my life is crazy. Like looking at all that I have, like just in this room alone, like I have so much to be thankful for, so much I can take joy in. Music, toys, my friends, like myself. But I have so much to take joy in, but I was in this horrible place and I just couldn't find anything. And my only hope was in God, but I was saying that, but I wasn't living it. I wasn't feeling it. I was saying it because I knew it was supposed to be true, but I wasn't feeling it. But this one thing that I had that did make me happy was this fantasy of this life, this one life that I wanted. It was all I could think about. I was like, I want this, 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 and this, and this is what I want. But I wasn't getting it. And like the chances of getting it were slowly fading away. Like every day it felt further away. And I was like, oh, but I understand that God's plan's better than mine. But I'm right about this one. I'm right about this one. This is all that I have, and it's all that's right. Like, to an extent, I don't think I was silly, because I'm still in the same space, kind of. We'll get to it. But, yeah, and my memories of, like, say I wanted to tie this life to a specific person, my memories of this person were so comforting to me, but also in a way, like, freaking a knife to the heart every single time I thought of them. And yeah, and that's when I wanted to bring up our Corinthians chapter 13. Let me read to you. I'm reading from verse 4 to 8. So, love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. So I think with this, I was very, very focused on, you know, the really easy stuff to focus on. You know, it's patient. I just gotta wait. It's kind. That's easy. Just be kind. It's not boastful or envious. I don't boast. I don't envy anyone. But like ignoring these things, like it does not insist on its own way, because love is not just one thing. Love is not just, you know, oh, being with a person forever and ever. Love, I found in one way that really resonates with me right now, is love is rejoicing in the joy of the people that you love. Even if you can't particularly feel that joy, the fact that the person you love feels joy is something to rejoice in itself, which is, I think, what we're going to get to. But more importantly, it believes all things, it hopes all things, and it endures all things. And I think the main takeaway for this is love is everything. Everything that comes from God is love, because God is love. So, what do you do when this great loss appears and you brace yourself for pain and suffering only to feel freedom, which kind of makes you feel a bit guilty, but you know. So I think the overall message I'm getting across with this part is love does not end, but I think it does change, because when we go to love does not envy or love is not envious, what I think of is that, I said this before, my greatest joy, the second I, you know, found out that I can't have this life that I wanted, it was really gone from me at this point. My greatest joy is knowing that the people I love feel love and that they are happy. That's all I want, is for the people I love to be happy. And I think that knowing that the comfort that I can't give and the love that I can't give and all these things that I was not able to give because of my own faults, the people I love are receiving. And I can't take any envy in that. I can't be envious of that. It just brings me joy. It just makes me happy. And yes, of course I feel a sense of this regret and this sadness. Of course I do, when I think like, oh, that shouldn't be me. I'm your head. But it's not, because maybe it's because I screwed up, or more importantly, it's probably because that's not what was best. And I think that has been something very hard for me to come to terms with, that I was wrong and it is what's best. But we're gonna get to that. So there's another line from a different Lauryn Hill song, from this Education of Lauryn Hill, and it comes from Tell Him, which originally, the first time I ever heard Tell Him, I was like, oh, it's a love song. Tell him I need him. Tell him I love him. But it's really a love letter to God. Everything in it. That song is actually an entire, you should listen to it. It's so good. The whole song is an exploration of the whole of chapter 13 from 1 Corinthians. So not just, you know, the verse that I read, the 4-8. I mean, like, the whole of it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. But the line is, for what we now know is nothing compares to the love that was shown when our lives were spared, which obviously refers to God sacrificing himself and dying a very painful death for us. And I think that what we learn, something we can learn from that, is that suffering or giving up or just, suffering for the people you love is a great form of love, and is a love that never dies. And it is a love that probably isn't boastful or envious. Maybe I'm being a bit boastful right now, but I don't think I think it's for a completely different reason. And that is, I always had this prayer that every time I cried, I would have this prayer that every tear I shed meant a year of happiness for the person I was crying over. When I first prayed that, I was like, I hope that works. I hope that actually works. I was like, I hate that, but actually make that happen. Please make that happen. Like, genuinely, when we offer our worries to God, because we're supposed to take refuge in God, and we're supposed to believe that because of him, we don't have to worry about anything, which is true, but it's hard to believe. But when you go to adoration, or you just pray and you say that you are giving all your worries up to God, you gotta actually mean it. Because I think that every tear you shed, every worry you have that you offer to God is just a chance to bring you closer to God. In Mass today, we heard a lovely reading from the Gospel of Matthew about the Canaanite woman who comes to God. And when I first heard it, I was like, I don't really like the way that he's speaking to her, he being Jesus. But obviously I didn't think like that. I was like, okay, wait, let someone explain this to me, because I don't really understand why he would speak to her like that. And this is basically that this woman's daughter is possessed by demons. And she comes to Jesus. And she says, Sir, son of David, take pity on me. My daughter is tormented by a devil. He answered her with not a word, and his disciples went and pleaded with him. Give her what she wants, they said, because she is shouting at us. He said in reply, I was sent only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But the woman had come up and was kneeling at his feet. Lord, she said, help me. He replied, it is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the house dogs. She retorted, ah, yes, sir. But even the house dogs can eat the scraps that fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered her, Woman, you have great faith. Let your wish be granted. So the first time I heard that, I was a bit like, did he just call her a dog? Damn, what did she do? He just called her a dog. But I think what we have to understand is, or what we can take from this, I think definitely, is that when God is silent, it's not a chance for us to go, well, screw you then, I'm done. Fine. This woman, when Jesus literally not mocked her, but in this way, like, rejected her, she didn't go, okay, screw you then, and walk away. She humbled herself, and she said, even though I am so lowly that I am like a dog compared to the children of Israel, may I still have something, even your scraps, which, because it's at first you're like, why do I need to humble myself that much? But then you remember, like, you are a human, and that's God. Like, he doesn't have to do anything for you, which is something that I, you know, always thought when I was, oh, by the way, my dress has pockets, which is always something that I thought when I was feeling really low. I was like, I know I don't deserve any of this, but just please give me another chance. Like, just, I know I don't deserve any of this, but there's a difference between saying, you don't deserve any of this and really knowing that you don't deserve any of this. So I think it's most important to remember that when God is silent, he is doing something for you. And when, you feel like you've lost something, keep open-minded, because it might just be opening. I know I hated to hear it. I hated to hear it. When one door closes, another one opens. I hated to hear it. But it kind of is true, because love does not insist on its own way. You can still love someone without it being in the way that you had it initially anticipated, because I'm so ready to say, like, I love you and I'm happy that you're happy, and I'm gonna still love you and still pray for you, and you're always gonna be on my mind in some way. But it's different now. Maybe I'll see you on TV, or I'll see you when someone posts you, or like, I don't know. But I think it all just comes back to, when God is silent, be humble and implore of God always. Never turn away from him or be angry. Go to him for your comfort, and one day you will understand. But all I know now is whatever I prayed for in the past, whatever I prayed every night, please, 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 I didn't get. But whenever I said, please help me rejoice in you, please help me feel better, I'm the best I've been in a while. I have this sadness in me, but all of this ability to find the joy and rejoice in my life as it is, despite the suffering, that came to me. And I think we get given what we need when we need it. Because love never ends, but it does change. So now we get to the conclusion of my paradox. I feel so happy, to the point where I feel almost a little bit guilty, like I should feel a bit sad. But I feel like a weight is lifted off me, which honestly sounds horrible. Like, yes! Finally, fatty got off my back. No. Like, I feel like all of these time goals that I was trying to meet, they're gone. I don't have to worry anymore. The days that felt like they were rushing by so quickly and I was wasting every single one, I'm now taking a rest day and I don't feel bad about it. Like, I'm less stressed about the passage of time. Every day doesn't feel like a waste. Every day just felt like a day. I did something or I didn't do something. Even if I didn't do something, I'm able to appreciate the small tasks that I did. And, and my future still does feel really uncertain. I go back to how I felt really hopeless about the future, and that helplessness that I felt was very rooted in the fact that I didn't know what it was going to look like and if it was going to be preferable, if that was what I was going to want. But now, I still don't know what I'm going to do in the future, but I don't see it through that lens anymore. I see it through the lens of, like, I can build the perfect life that I don't have to compromise, that I don't have to make the compromises I was very, very willing to make before. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like, yes. I was so willing to make those sacrifices that I didn't even think of them as sacrifices. But now that I get to build my life in this new way, it's so freeing. It's so great. Like, I don't have to worry about, like, oh, how will I balance the life that I want with, like, these two sides of this life that I want, like a family and a career. Like, I can have a career and have a family, and I think that that's okay. I think that that's perfectly okay. And, I don't have to freaking eat food I don't like. I don't know, like that's just such a random niche one. But like all of these little things that you have to do, these compromises that you have to make, they are little sacrifices, which are a great sign of love. But I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. And I wanted to throw in a little gratitude task just in this spot that my Finch app, do you remember the Finch app? That gave me, and it was to make a folder of all the photos that bring you like grateful feelings, which end up being a lot of my camera roll, because if I don't really have a reason to have a photo, I delete it because I'm really worried about losing storage. But yeah, I originally thought it was just be like, oh, my family, my friends, but even like little moments like, oh, I was really grateful that I got this coffee, or I was really grateful that I got to go to this place, or I was, sorry, something moved over there and it scared me. And you know, I just thought it was a really nice task. And then you have that folder to look back on anytime that you're struggling to rejoice in what you have. You have a little folder and you can go through and you're like, oh, that made me so happy. And oh my gosh, I forgot that I have this person that I can go text right now when I feel lonely. Like, yeah. And speaking of which, it's gonna take me a second to find it because, oh no, I think it's in here. I read this last night. Here we go. It is from 1 Timothy. And I just kind of did the thing so I could find it later. So it's going to take me a second. But it's very much talking about this idea of a young widow and a real widow. And I think you're both widows, no matter how old you are. But for me, it was more of this sense of someone who feels alone versus someone who really is alone and really does need that help. And that would be the real widow who the church has to go out and help. But then there's this young widow who is still, like, for lack of a better term, useful. Like, she can get married again, or she can go and find family members that she can help. She can go work. She can go do all this stuff. And I think I would see myself as very much this real widow that's like, oh, I have no one. Everyone needs to come and help me because I'm so lonely and I'm just a little baby. But really, I'm this young widow who I've experienced loss, but I still have so many people that I can go to that can help me, and I can help them. And this verse, this mention of this real widow versus the less widow, it also made me realize that there's so much. It reminded me of the dignity in small little work, little house chores, like every single day, just cleaning your room, unpacking the dishwasher, doing something for your mum, doing the laundry instead of making your mum do it, or helping your neighbor, or going to your grandma's house and helping her feed her animals or something. Like all of these little tasks that you can do that stop you from, like, how are you gonna bed rot in day being sad if you're out helping people? How are you gonna be idle and also do like sins like gossip? Like, I really struggle to stop gossiping. I can't gossip if I'm helping someone. Like, you know. So the final question that I wanted to ask and answer is, how does this conclusion, this happiness, this new opportunities fit into the framework that love always hopes and it never ends? And the answer is I don't know. And I don't need to know. But what I do know is that love always hopes and love never ends. And also, what I also know now is that love doesn't end, but it does change. And I don't know how much it's going to change. I don't know anything, but I know that I'm happy. I know that I'm really, really happy. And I want everyone to be happy. So I hope that maybe this brought some sort of understanding or brought something to someone. Maybe if it just inspired you to go listen to The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Ms. Lauryn Hill, because I hope that it inspires everyone to go listen to that album, because it is a great album. I love it so much. And if it inspired you to do your standard English and learn about paradoxes, I'm happy about that too. And if it just inspired you to go read the Bible, you can see it. Beauty guru. Can you see it? And that's good too. Or if it just inspired you to come and stare at my face and my incredible singing, I'm happy about that too. And if it made you happy to see me happy, then just know that I'm happy that you're happy. Recognizable. Part 2. I'm probably just gonna chuck this in the end, but I wanted to show you my dress. I hope you're enjoying my video. You should tell me what other videos you want to see. You should actually comment on my YouTube. Instead of making me talk to myself in my videos, you should comment. Do you want to see something I painted? What did she do? She didn't go, man, screw you, and walked away. I don't know. Screw you. Why am I talking like that? She didn't say that. She didn't go like, oh, okay then. Oh, okay then. Why am I talking like that?